What is up, you guys? Just let Nick handle it here, back with another showcase. This is Minions and Monsters and how to build every single character. I would normally give you a spoiler warning for new movies and showcases, but it's the Minions, so there's really no spoilers in a Minions movie. So this will be showing you how to build the bosses, the minions, and almost every single character included in Minions and Monsters. And disclaimer, guys, most of these customs, their pieces don't exist in Lego, like the Cyclops, like there's no real Cyclops eye or like a Gooie head. So bear with me on these customs and let's get it started. Our first character who appears in the Minions and Monsters movie is the tour guide, which I don't know if we get her name or not, but I had to build her since she does tell the whole story of Minions and Monsters, which ends up being a movie, but that's a whole nother thing. For her, I use these blue legs. They come on like many places, they're just normal blue legs. This torso, however, comes from America Chavez from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Fairly cheap figure, so easy to track down. Use the arms from her as well. Put some tan hands on there. Use the head from Harry Potter, but use the eraser method to erase the scar. And I know that Harry Potter's a boy and we're making a girl custom, but nonetheless, it still works. If you put that hair on there from Anakin, I think it makes for a really good tour guide. Now when they're showing off the tour of the, I guess, museum, they go through like the 80s movies, some nostalgic movies like E.T. and when they're showing off the Minions, and a bunch of different movies, but the only thing I'd really be showing is an E.T. figure, so I don't think it's really necessary to build. But who is necessary to build is George Lucas, who appears in the little like box containment thing. And I use these legs from Harry Potter from the collectible minifigure series 2, which you get those nice jean print with the black shoes on there. And I can tell my lighting's a little blurry here, but you can see those there. And then I flip this torso around from MJ from Spider-Man No Way Home, and I think that looks really good for his plaid shirt. And I used this head from Dumbledore with the glasses side, and then this white hair from Carl from the Upset. So really think that looks good for George Lucas, and crazy he appeared in this movie. Now we are finally on to the Minion side of things, and to build James, I just used the regular Minion Mel torso and head, and put on this hair from one of the other Minions. His name was Otto from Minions Rise of Gru. And I think it looks good for his hair. You could take it off if you don't want it, because he doesn't have much hair, but I think it provides the likeness we need for the movie. But with these Minion customs, there's nothing you can really customize besides changing the bodies because of how the pieces are made. So it was really difficult on making customs. Some Minions are just the same as they came in the sets, but nonetheless, that is James, and we'll move on to the next Minions. Next, we have James's partner Minions that are on his side most of the movie because they're rebelling against the other Minion we'll talk about in a second. But we have Henry and we have Ed. Ed doesn't normally, he doesn't talk. I think he's not deaf. Yeah, I think he's deaf, so he was an interesting character in the movie, so had to include him, obviously. And I just used the Otto from the Minions Rise of Gru we talked about earlier. Thought that looked pretty good because he is a bigger minion in the movie, so thought that looked good. And then for Henry, I just used the minion from the Minions Party Bus. Can't quite remember which minion it was, but I did like that he had the hair on top of his head just like Henry did, and he had that good smile that Henry has through most of the movie. So we'll move on to Dick. Next we have Dick, and he was an interesting character in the movie, to say the least. For him, I just used the Mel figure from Despicable Me 4 sets, which I thought looked pretty good. He does have the hair on the head that Dick does in the movie, but he doesn't have... Dick didn't really smile the whole movie. You would know what I'm talking about if you see it, since he was kind of really the antagonist of the whole thing. And yeah, just use the Mel figure. Nothing else really would have been better for him, so that's what I had to use. Next we have Max, which was the director the Minions ran into in the movie, and he kind of played an important role on giving James the camera. And this camera is from the Lego, not Ideas, but the Lego Studios sets. I think it's come in other places, but you actually have a film piece in there you can see, and I thought it was a great inclusion. But I used the torso, arms, and hands from Indiana Jones's dad from the... I think it's the car chase. I think that's the one. And then I used some dark tan short legs. The head from Commissioner Gordon trying to get that little eye monocle that he had, but just had to go with the glasses because it was the closest thing. There's no real head with a mustache and a monocle, so that's what we had to use. And then I used the hair from Bucky Barnes from the Marvel Series 1 collectible minifigure series. Next we have all 4 bosses the Minions work for in the movie. There are more like the China Ruler and the Queen, but you only see them for a brief second, and I couldn't really get their designs down. I guess you could really use a normal like Queen figure. I think there's one out there, but don't have those pieces, so didn't try to make them. But we have the Cyclops caveman guy right here, and you notice mine does have 2 eyes because there is no real Cyclops eye that you see in the movie. I guess you could take this eye off with the eraser method, but then you'd have the eye over here and it's just a whole big deal. But nonetheless, I used the torso from Luke Skywalker, the legs from one of the Indiana Jones characters from I think the Mummy set, and then threw some arms on there from Thor. You can get them in other places, not just on Thor, but I think you get the design down. It's not the greatest custom, obviously, but it gets the job done, and without that Cyclops eye, there's nothing really else you can do. Next we have the Mummy, who is just the Mummy from the collectible minifigure series from, I don't know which series it was, but it was from a long time ago. That's just what I know. And then for the, I guess the Warlock, I guess you would call him, I used the torso, which is actually flipped around from Corvus Glaive from the Thresher attack from Infinity War, just so it has that cape on the front side instead of the back. And I used the Gandalf beard, also has come on Dumbledore, and then that head under the hat and hair combo is from the Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan Hut set, and then this hat hair combo is from the Scarecrow There's plenty of other black witch hats and stuff you could use. That's just the one I found in my collection. And then we have the pirate over here, which he uses these black and brown molded boots from the T'Challa Star-Lord from Marvel CMF Series 1. The torso and arms from the one of the characters from Star Wars. I can't think of it right now, I don't know why. But put some tan hands on there. The head from Whiplash. And then this hair from the same Indiana Jones girl you got the legs from. But yeah, that is the Minions roars they follow throughout the movie, that they end up killing all of them. But nonetheless, we'll move on. Next we have the bandit the Minions chase through the town. And to build him, I just used an Indiana Jones torso. You can see lifting that up there. There's the tie. And just use the torso, arms, and hands from that. Head and hair hat combo from Indiana Jones from the plane chase. And then these brown legs. And then a poncho from Luke Skywalker from the Obi-Wan Hutt set, I think. No, the Luke's land speeder. I don't know why I said Obi-Wan's Hutt, but that is the bandit. Next we have the Bright brothers that the Minions work for to make the films and such. And to build them, I thought it was funny since they're twins and they both have like mustaches and such. I just used 2 Tony Stark heads and a torso and legs from J. Jonah Jameson from the train chase, and then this torso, arms, and legs from a city set, come in multiple places, tan hands, and then hair from Superman from BVS or Tony Stark from the comic sets. But wanted to include them since they weren't in the movie, of course. But yeah, not really that great of customs, just a funny joke I thought of. But nonetheless, we'll move on to the final figure. Next we have Gooie, and to build him, guys, this was not my best figure design, since the head that worked is a squid head from the Lego, I think, I don't want to be wrong about this, but Ultra Agents, I think. I don't know if that's the one, but it's a older piece that would look great, and I don't have it, of course. So I had to use the Minecraft zombie head and hands, a flipped around torso from Han Solo, some white short legs. You can see mine have been through a rough time. And then if you want to, you can put this book in his hand, which this is the book from the Agatha All Along figure from the CMF series. And I thought, since he conjures like the monsters and stuff, it would be great to have him hold that, and he can summon the monsters or summon himself back to the book, whatever he wants to do. And yeah, that was every figure I made for this movie, and we will take a final look and look over all the figures, and I'll give you my final thoughts. But there will be no the other 2 monsters because they're just way difficult to build in minifigure form. Not very many pieces for them, so didn't include them. But let's head to the final thoughts. That was my showcase on Minions and Monsters. Really enjoyed this movie, guys, and I highly recommend it. All the Minions movies are good, especially this one. And yeah, it's on track to make $1 billion, as it should, as the Minions are so popular, and that is why I had to make this showcase for you guys. So let me know what showcases you want to see next, what upcoming movies. My next showcase for a movie coming this summer should be Spider-Man Brand New Day. That'll be coming out July 31st to my channel, so stay tuned for that. That should be a good one. Well, I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.